morning, Santa Clarita. Welcome in. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. This is SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers, and I am your host, Matt Watson. It's good to see you. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, it's good to be seen by you. That's right, you can check us out on Facebook Live if you are interested in peering into the studio. We are here. Just head on over to Facebook and search for KHTS Radio. You'll see the salmon-colored banner there. You can pull us up and enjoy the show. You will notice it looks like I'm sitting in a room all by myself wearing my mask like a fool, but I am not. Right across from me is Patty, our engineer. It's good to have you, Patty. Thanks for joining us.
Good to have you too, Matt.
Patty's the one that keeps us on the air, but he stays off camera and makes me look like an idiot sitting in a room by myself wearing a mask. But both of us are here, keeping our distance, keeping our masks on. Just want to get that out of the way. A lot of people wonder why I'm sitting in the studio by myself wearing a mask. Well, that is why, because Patty's right across from me. This special edition of Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers, is brought to you by KHTS in collaboration with SCVi and iLead Schools. We come to you live each day, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. to provide support and updates on this distance learning thing that we're all doing. Seems like most of us are hitting our stride, whatever that stride may be. And we're working, we're doing it. But, we've got plenty of support for you on our website. We are constantly curating and adding new resources for you on homeschoolinganswers.com. So if you need a little something extra for your kids, something fun, something enjoyable, something engaging and deeply academic, head on over there. We've got everything from math, reading, writing, science, social studies, play-based learning, everything you could ever want for your kid. Just check out homeschoolinganswers.com. We've also got some parent resources there, different parenting tips, how to manage, when the kids are going a little stir-crazy in the house, how to handle those challenges. So head on over, again, to homeschoolinganswers.com. I think you'll find that we've got everything you need. Happy Friday, y'all. That is right. It is Friday. TGITDBWAGABFZ, Thank God it's that day before we all get a break from Zoom. Right? My eyes are going a little bit dizzy, and I could use that break. I'm sure everybody else can. Before we get started, we've got some much-needed clarification on the county's extension of the stay-at-home restrictions. Yesterday, after announcing the next phase of reopening Los Angeles County, Supervisor Hilda Solis clarified which parts of the safer-at-home are still in effect. There was an announcement made, I think it was late on Wednesday, that the safe-at-home restrictions would extend at least through July, and people kind of freaked out, and they said, wait a minute, we need to clarify a little bit. So yesterday we did get that clarification, so here it is, got a couple of bullet points for us. Starting today, Friday, all retailers, that is May 15th, starting today, all retailers are able to open for doorside pickup, doorside or curbside service, and the manufacturers that supply those retail businesses are able to operate. However, this does not include indoor malls. So, for example, the folks that work at the Valencia Town Center, and my son who works is on furlough from Hot Topic right now. He's still out of luck, and I know a lot of folks are waiting for those malls to get reopened. So not everybody is able to get back to work, but those retailers that are not indoor retailers can start to operate doorside or curbside. These newly reopened businesses are still required to adhere to public health orders and social distancing, and customers are not allowed to enter their locales. So please beware with that. County beaches are expected to reopen today. I know a lot of people here in SoCal are excited about that, as well as tennis and pickleball courts, shooting and archery ranges, and equestrian centers are allowed to reopen today. I just want to know if anybody can explain to me what pickleball is. I'd like to learn how to play. Now, beaches are only open for what they're calling individual activities such as running, walking, kayaking, swimming, and surfing. Group sports and activities like picnicking and sunbathing are not allowed at this time. Beach parking lots, bike paths, piers, boardwalks, they all still remain closed. Public health officials are further urging the use of personal protective equipment, that PPE, such as masks, while we are out in the proximity of others, calling it the new normal. Get used to wearing your masks, folks, is what they're saying. In LA County, as we recover, they want us to make sure that when we are in close proximity, like Patty and I are here, they want to make sure that we get used to wearing our masks. This is going to be the new normal. Officials did not announce an extension date for the Safer at Home order. They didn't put a date on it. Basically what they said is, since there is no expiration on Corona, there is no expiration date on the Safer at Home order. But previously noted it could be several months more. Again, Solis made it clear that the order does not have an expiration date. All right, so I'm glad we got that cleared up. With that cleared up, let's go ahead and get the show started. We've got a great show today, a short show. Today we are here for just 1 hour. We've got Ramon Hamilton. He'll be joining us in just a minute. Ramon is an award-winning writer and director, as well as an educator at SCVi. He's doing some things that'll blow your mind. And then at the end of the show, we've got Tony Watson back for another fun-filled edition of Big T's 5 Minutes of Fame. So let's do this. Like I said, my first guest is Ramon Hamilton. Ramon is a filmmaker and virtual reality developer who's currently creating immersive, interactive, cinematic experiences and game content. I've spoken with Ramon at length about the media that he's creating, and once you wrap your head around it, it's just going to blow your mind. Ramon, along with his wife Jennifer, founded the Santa Clarita Valley Film Festival, which they ran for 7 years, and they only stopped doing that when the success of their film and media education company, Think 10 Media Group, grew so successful that they couldn't manage both. He's just blown up. Think 10's award-winning film Rachel's Pitch successfully toured the film festival circuit, and much of Rachel's Pitch was made in collaboration with the Make-A-Wish of South Carolina Foundation and used our very own SCVi campus as its backdrop. Ramon is also SCVi's upper school IB film facilitator and design tech coordinator, and we'll get into what that means in just a second. His history with SCVi goes way back to the year that we opened up our doors in 2008. He facilitates the IB film courses as well as Film 1, Film 2, and he also teaches a design tech class called New Media, which is really interesting. I want to talk to Ramon about that. On top of all that, he also coaches SCVi's upper school flag team. Ramon, welcome in. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Matt.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, first off, and most importantly, I want to make sure that everybody's okay. How are you and your family doing at this time? Everybody safe and well?
Everyone is safe and well, yeah, they're actually giving me a little bit of quiet so I can actually do this radio show. So, yeah, no complaints on my end.
All right, very good. Now, Ramon, I mentioned that you're a quite accomplished filmmaker. From the conversations that you and I have had, your work seems to focus on two areas: social justice and then technically pushing the envelope in the media that you use. Am I right?
Yeah. I mean, I would actually, maybe expand that a bit. In terms of social justice, I think that falls under the larger umbrella, which is really finding ways to explore humanity in various different ways, and not just in terms of the stories, but also in the means in which we can actually explore those stories and receive those stories, whether it be through standard film or some of the newer technology like virtual reality, augmented reality, things like that. But absolutely, social justice is a huge part of that. It's kind of hard to explore humanity without looking at the various social issues that are occurring at any given moment. And then, the thing that we're trying to do in regards to highlighting the humanity and the various stories of humanity is really the empathy, and finding that connection. As well as enriching the immersion, really getting people to be connected to stories. One of the things that we found very, very early on was with our first feature-length film that Think 10 Media Group produced. That was a film called Smuggled, and this was back in 2010, 2011-ish, around there when it was released and toured the film festival circuit. It was a very, very small micro-budget film, and it focused on just two people. About 80% of the movie, you were literally with two people in a tiny compartment as they were being smuggled across the U.S. border. And what we found is that sense of intimate connection was far greater in terms of impact and understanding a specific issue, as opposed to highlighting statistics and numbers in massive volume. So from there, really, moving forward, it's really, it's just about trying to connect or create those personal connections as best as possible through visual and auditory mediums.
That is really cool. I never really took those two ends of what you do and put them together the way you just articulated. You're about pulling in the entire viewer or consumer of your content, their heart, their eyes, their ears. It's a full sensory experience, isn't it? You and I worked extensively on something that you had explained to me last year, and even then it took me quite a while to grasp what you were talking about. You spend a lot of time working in the space of something called new media. You teach a class called New Media at SCVi, which we'll get into next break. But Ramon, when we say new media, what are we talking about? What is new media? Because I mean, I'm deep into my 40s, man, and when you first said new media, I thought of a weatherman who hasn't had plastic surgery yet.
That could possibly be new media. You threw me off guard there. So new media is it's an odd beast because there's no direct answer. I wish there were, but to be very straightforward, people that are working in new media are constantly figuring it out, and I think that's why the phrase has been we've coined the phrase new media. But just to give you some sort of context as to what it can entail, it by no means encompasses everything because it's constantly evolving. But we're talking about pushing the boundaries of technology, and I loosely talked about it. Things such as virtual reality, where we can take people in a certain physical space and transport them to pretty much whatever virtual space that we want to do, using things like augmented reality to change the actual physical space that they're currently in by adding elements through phones and tablets and things like that. Also, using social media beyond just social media and actually using it for storytelling. And really, it's just that. It's looking at any of the given tools that are available at the moment, and of course, those are constantly changing and evolving, and finding ways to use that media in new ways, whether it be through information sharing or social connections or storytelling, which is obviously what I focus on.
Absolutely. So it's kind of pushing that envelope. The way you described it to me that finally made it click is, we talk about media. We have television, movies, radio, print, and then there's this other stuff. Well, we have virtual reality, but then beyond that, there's this other stuff that doesn't really have a name yet, and it's kind of, the phrase is kind of stuck, new media, stuff that hasn't really been exactly identified or pigeonholed yet. So it's kind of interesting. That's kind of the way I wrap my head around it. So whether it's new media or a traditional look at film, like some of the things that you've released, will you take a little bit of time to describe some of your projects to our listeners? What are some of the films or projects that you're most proud of, Ramon?
Sure. I mean, so one of the more recent ones that I'm very proud of is a project called Once Upon a Time in Peekskill, which is a true story about a 16-year-old who was wrongfully convicted of murder in the city of Peekskill, New York. This was actually in the 90s, but we wanted to really explore the concept of wrongful convictions, but also forced confessions. And this was a story that really resonated, especially because I work with teens. And even the person that was actually the subject of the story actually came to the school and spoke with the kids, and it was very powerful. But really what we were able to do is we explored the story in virtual reality, so you, the viewer, are being able to be placed into the environment where this teen is. You're going through the various scenarios that he had gone through that lead up to him actually confessing to a crime that he did not commit. And so you're able to, see, literally from his perspective in his world, how does that happen? How does a 16-year-old kid who is completely innocent of a crime end up confessing to not just a crime, but a very brutal crime? And the fact that it's in virtual reality, just like we talked about earlier, just creates that really greater sense of immersion and connection to the story material that, quite honestly, there's no way I could do that in a flat screen manner. So, and that one we actually released a little over a month ago on the Oculus Store, so it is available commercially. Now I'm actually, and so this was actually, let me be clear, that was actually live action, but it's in 3D stereoscopic VR. So these are actual live people, actors that are, recreating the scenes. And now I'm currently working on a Twilight Zone-ish type of experience that's completely computer-generated, also once again in virtual reality, because again, we can create those deeper sense of immersion and connection that you just can't do. You can literally drop in, feel the world that you're in, with haptics and things like that through the controller, move around in the story world. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Even now, years into this, I'm still blown away when I pop on my VR headset and I dive into a new world.
Yeah, it's totally immersive. What you're doing is incredible. You're taking the combination of live-action films, virtual reality, and gaming, so that your consumer can plop themselves in the middle of this story that you've recreated, and even take a look at it from different perspectives. It's absolutely amazing what you're doing. We do have to take a break in just a couple of minutes, but before we do that, because when we come back, we want to talk about what you're doing with the learners at SCVi. But before we do that, is there anything else that you want to share about your work or the industry that you want our listeners to know about?
I think really the only thing I do want to stress, in case I haven't stressed it enough, is, and you really just touched upon it, is really the, accepting technology, accepting new ways of storytelling, because a lot of times we often get stuck, sticking to what we're, what's safe to us, what's normal to us. But there is a lot of amazing things happening in the world of storytelling that is very accessible. It doesn't require, $1,000 PC and $500 headset. There's just, a lot of cool things happening even just on your cell phones in terms of augmented reality and even virtual reality with cell phones. So I really just, want to encourage people that may be slightly intimidated by this kind of, so-called new media to try to just jump into it and experience stuff, because there's really a lot of amazing, phenomenal stuff, and I'm a true believer that this is going to be just a part of the fabric of the way that we consume entertainment and media in general. In fact, just literally yesterday, Apple purchased NextVR, which is a VR company that broadcasts live events and sports and things like that. So when you got a big player like Apple that's heavily investing now in the space, it's no question. This is not necessarily the future; it's the now. So there's a lot of cool people doing a lot of cool stuff, and I just really encourage people to kind of jump in and really start to see some of the new stuff that's out there.
It is real exciting. Before we go, I want to give you a chance. You mentioned the Oculus Store. Where else can people find your work? You can find the film I mentioned earlier, Smuggled. That's on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime or Amazon in general, you can access that. It's called Smuggled. That's the mom and son that are in the compartment being smuggled across the border. And then, the Oculus Store, if you have an Oculus Rift, Rift S, or an Oculus Quest with a link cable, which that's the standalone VR headset, you can go onto the Oculus Store and purchase Once Upon a Time in Peekskill. And the current app that I'm working on is called Whispers from Within. Moving On, it's like a Twilight Zone-ish type of experience, all completely in virtual reality. That will be available on Steam as well as the Oculus Store. And producer Sarah has posted a link on our Facebook Live feed to Ramon's website. So if you're interested more about what Ramon's doing, take a look at his website there. We're talking with writer, director, filmmaker, innovator, and educator at SCVi, Ramon Hamilton. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will continue the conversation when we get back. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
The world has changed a lot recently.
And we understand that while many families are at home sheltering in place, essential services, including Pacific Air, are still open.
That means if you're having a problem with your heating and air, or want the air in your home to be as clean as possible, we can help keep you comfortable and safe.
From system repairs to our new air scrubbers that kill 99% of all airborne contaminants, we're here to help.
Our techs now wear extra safety equipment, and we keep a safe distance from you and your family while getting the work done as quickly as possible.
Stay safe, practice social distancing, and remember,
Pacific Air is open and ready to help you keep your home's air clean and comfortable.
Call the guys in the orange truck. That's Pacific Air. On time, great care. When you want the best, call Call Pacific Air.
Pacific Air is open and available to help you with heating and air problems, install air scrubbers, and more. Go to pacair.com. Remember, without the E, it's just air.
At iLead Agua Dulce, we believe the most important thing a child can learn in school is who they are. Life's real tests are never standardized, which is why we've developed an individual-based curriculum that values exploration, cooperation, and creativity. As our learners grow, so do we. Our tuition-free charter school is currently enrolling grades TK through 7th and adding 8th grade in 2020. Your young learner will be immersed in a unique environment where possibility and self-discovery are at the core of every experience. The Agua Dulce campus features beautiful indoor and outdoor spaces for hands-on inspiration, including a robotics lab, a garden bed, a greenhouse, and a technology-based exploratorium. iLead Agua Dulce is conveniently located on the east side of the Santa Clarita Valley, just off the 14 freeway. Check out our homeschool options too. To schedule a campus tour or learn more about our programs, visit ileadaguadulce.org. We're enrolling now. iLead Schools. Free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. This is SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers, and I am Matt Watson. We're joined this morning by Ramon Hamilton. He's an award-winning writer and director. He's a filmmaker. He's pushing the envelope on how we can consume the media that we consume and providing a fully immersive experience for his viewers. He is also an educator at SCVi, and I got to tell you, our learners at SCVi are so blessed to have Ramon on campus with the incredible things that he's producing and developing. He's doing it right there with his learners. So, Ramon, you were telling us before the break about all the groundbreaking things that you're developing in film and other media. So tell us what you do for SCVi.
How much time you got, Matt? In a nutshell, I'll run down just a few of the things. So I teach our IB film program, which began last year. So actually this is our first year that we're actually having seniors testing for that, so that's pretty exciting. I also teach Film 1, which is an introductory film course. Film 2, which is an intermediate film course. And then typically if kids want to further pursue their interest in film, then they would jump into IB Film, which is a 2-year program for juniors and seniors. And then I also teach a design tech course, which is called New Media. Actually, we've transitioned it very much more to video game design, but which obviously still falls under New Media. So that's actually been a really exciting thing because we got the kids just making all sorts of different video games. So it's been really cool.
You know, I was part of the panel, the personal project the sophomores are develop every year, and there were a couple of kids that had developed their passion project through your New Media course, and they were really excited about it. They're creating some pretty incredible stuff for 15, 16-year-olds. So, Ramon,
I agree.
You mentioned your film classes. You've got Film 1, Film 2, and then IB. Is that basically just a 2-year-long Film 3 course, or is there something different and deeper in an IB film course?
So, I mean, to give you the context, let me back up. Yes, it is different, and if anything, it's far more extensive and covers more than just filmmaking. Film 1 and Film 2 are very much meant to just understand the filmmaking process through actually, creating film projects, from anything from, silent films to documentaries to standard narrative-based stories, whatever it may be. And then IB Film takes that and heightens it. So not only do they continue to explore filmmaking in a more extensive manner, but they also start to look at film history, and they start to understand how to analyze and break down various film components of any given film that they watch. They're looking at cultural context. They're looking at film aesthetic, film theory, all sorts of things. So it's a much more of a hybrid between being very hands-on as well as being very analytical.
Okay. So, and you mentioned that at the end of the 2-year program, they take a test. This is something they can actually get college credit for, correct?
Yes, yeah, they can get college credit, and it's also, I mean, just the IB program in general is extremely awesome for really helping the college application experience, as well as just the college attendance experience. So yeah, it's extremely helpful in that. And also one of the things, just to I'm going to kind of bridge some gaps here, but one of the things we talked about in the first half was some of the VR projects that my company is doing, and what I actually started last year was incorporating my IB film students into some of that work. So with the production that we did Once Upon a Time in Peekskill, I had honestly most of the IB learners at that point were production assistants on it and helped with everything from casting to the actual filming of the production. So they were able to get IMDb credit. So not only were they learning the classroom stuff, but they're also learning the real world production through something that's going to be commercially distributed and eventually was commercially distributed.
And then building their professional portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool. So, and then you mentioned that you also teach a new media class. You explained what new media is earlier, and it's still a little bit vague. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's really
we all are, Matt. We're all trying to figure it out.
So it's almost kind of like through these different mediums. You mentioned gaming. You're kind of teaching a creativity 101 or maybe an innovation 150 or something like that. So how do you teach new media?
So new media is, it's as we talked about earlier, it's a little undefinable. But what I do is with any sort of class, this one's obviously focused on new media, but I start with just seeing in which direction the kids want to go. So I've had kids that have wanted to make music apps, story-based apps, 2D platformers, 3D adventure games, just whatever they're interested in terms of using some of this newer technology to create whatever experience. It can be a game, or it can purely just be an experience, or it can be something educational like the music learning app. And then from there, we basically, we kind of, like what you do with any game or experience, we create their little production design document that highlights, what is it that they're trying to do, how are they going to achieve it, and all the various components of their game/experience. And then we just get, down to it, get our hands dirty, hop into the computer, and start making stuff. So the kids are doing everything from, 3D modeling, 2D sprites, which are like your characters that you see on screen in a 2D game, to actual programming, which we use Unity, which they program in C#, which is just a computer-based programming language. Dealing with music and sound effects. I mean the whole nine. So they just create what they're interested in. It's a design tech course, so they can truly just focus on their own interests and objectives. And as you mentioned, it overlapped quite a bit with personal project. I think at least half of my sophomores that took my new media course were using that time to work on their personal project, and I agree, they made some pretty phenomenal stuff. And also it honestly pushes me as a creator and an educator, but definitely as a creator, because oftentimes they're wanting to do things that aren't in line with the kind of work that I do. They're drastically different, much more in tune with their age group and their demographics, and so I have to figure stuff out, and I'm constantly learning alongside with them. So it's a really cool process, and I think what it really does is it allows them to see that there's a blurry line between a facilitator as well as a learner, because at many stages throughout this, I'm a learner just like them, and we're figuring it out and working together collaboratively to find answers to whatever problems. And when you're dealing with new media, there's always problems. That's a big part of what you're doing is problem solving, because you have this awesome idea, you know exactly what you want to do, but then you sit down like, okay, how the heck do I do that? And you got to figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. You hit on a great definition. Our regular listeners know that at SCVi and iLead Schools, we don't call our professional educators teachers. We call them facilitators. And exactly what you're talking about is what we're attempting to do in the classroom is have somebody there to guide our kids and help give them direction, but then also learn right along with them, and sometimes step back, sit down, and learn from them, which
Yes.
you're doing some great things out there. All right, so last thing, I understand that congratulations are in order. It kind of got a little gobbled up when coronavirus showed up, but right about that time that we were all going into quarantine, your learners recently won some sort of an award. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, they were very proud that they won the best of the festival at the DOCO Film Festival. And this was a high school film competition, so they were up against other high school films from across the country, possibly even globally, but definitely from across the country. And it was actually part of a silent film unit where they had to tell a story without any spoken dialogue, which is obviously challenging, especially in today's climate where all films have dialogue for the most part. And so they told a very powerful story. It was also ended up being very timely, unfortunately, where there it's a very sensitive topic, so just very clear for their listeners, in which there was a school shooting that took place. And it was all from the perspective of the students that are inside of a classroom, obviously staying safe and staying quiet while this incident is occurring. It was very powerful. It was completely driven by them and the story that they wanted to tell, that they felt was important to them. And not only did it win that festival, but it's been accepted at numerous festivals now. And there's still other festivals that we've been submitted to, so that could very well be accepted into others and stuff. But that's truthfully one of the more proudest films of all the stuff that I've done there. Just because how committed the kids were to telling the story and how well they did it, given such a tough parameter, to tell a story with no dialogue. So I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, very very cool. Very proud indeed. And like I said, it was a really big deal, but the trumpets kind of got muffled a little bit as we rode off into our distance learning caves here, and so congratulations to you, congratulations to the kids. Is there somewhere that we can go to see that film? There is. I, off the top of my head, do not have the link, although I'm 90% sure it is on the SCVi I Lead YouTube channel. So I don't know if there's a way that we can link that on Facebook, but it is there for people to view and check it out. And it's called Classroom 108. Classroom 108. I'm sure producer Sarah is chasing it down right now, and
I'm sure she is.
She'll get it linked on the Facebook live feed there. Ramon, you're doing some amazing things. Forget the fact that you're just opening our kids' minds to all these different possibilities out there, but then you're also giving them the practical, hands-on ability to not just consume, but to create this stuff. Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, you're doing great things in the world. You're doing great things with our kids out at SCVi. So thanks for coming in, Ramon. You have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Take care. And with that, we are out for one more quick commercial break. When we come back, we have got some fun and exciting times. Big T's 5, maybe even 6 minutes of fame today. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, I want you to go to hometownstation.com and click on the red banner. There you're going to find tips on the economy, health updates, special business hours, and much, much more. You're listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, this is Bob Schertz with the Way Out Recovery SCV, reminding you that during these unprecedented times, addiction and mental health do not take a break. If you or someone you love are struggling, please give us a call at 661-296-4444. We are open and here to help you during this time. Thanks.
I'm Matt Denny, CPA, with Denny & Company, LLP, your hometown CPAs. Here are some tips to help you with anxiety you may have about your income tax returns for 2019. The deadlines for filing both state and federal returns have been extended to July 15. Both the state and the feds are also extending the time for making 2019 tax payments otherwise due, without interest or penalty, to July 15. These details keep changing, so contact us at 661-286-8860 or see our website at dennyllp.com.
You see so much when you look at your child, a creative spirit that surprises you every day. curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions, a little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVi, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLead's founding school, SCVi combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVi has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLead Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 AM. We are also live on Facebook Live at the KHTS Radio Facebook page. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We are joined now by Big T. Do you know Big T? They say that by his fruits you shall know him. You know, Big T is a husband, and you've never met a wife happier than Tony's wife. Big T is a father, and his kids are scholars, athletes, philanthropists, humanitarians, and great human beings who will both cook you the best meal that you've ever had and then carry on the most interesting conversation with you while you eat, you know, peppered with Big T's wicked sense of humor, of course. And then they'll offer you the shirt off their back and the shoes off of their feet. They're great, great kids. Big T is also a businessman, and where he goes, success follows him. He doesn't chase success. Success follows him. You know, Big T is a son, and Mom will tune in every Friday to listen to him on the radio. Big T is also a brother. He's a best friend, an advocate, a confidant, $100 whenever I need it, and someone who will never leave me alone in this world. Yeah, he's my brother. He's my ace. He is my wingman. He's my mentor. He is Big T. Welcome back in, brother.
Morning, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, so you gave me a hard time the last couple of weeks for forgetting Mom's birthday, which I did not forget. I was following a shtick you were doing a couple weeks ago, but yesterday was Mom's birthday, and you know, I give Mom a hard time because she only listens to the show when her favorite son, Big T, is on the air, or when one of her many friends is on the air. But other than that, she misses the show. But yesterday, I threw a shout out. I said, "Happy birthday, Mom." She texted right back and said thanks. So she was listening to me yesterday, Tony.
Well, wasn't Matt from the Boys and Girls Club on?
Yeah, I forgot about that. She was on the board. For
yeah, she loves the club. She was on the board, and she loves to support that Matt as much as she can. Remember, you talked about the other Tony? Maybe that's the other Matt.
Wow. Okay, well, let me take a second to say good morning, Mom. I know she just tuned in. All right. So, what have you got for us, Big T?
Well, and I was going to ask you if you knew what yesterday was, but you've already covered that, so fantastic. But so I thought, in honor of Mom's birthday, we'd cover a little bit of birthday fun facts.
Birthday fun facts, very cool.
Sure, nice and simple. Hey, safe, right? Safe.
We got to keep it safe. You know we're on the air, Tony. This thing is on.
Yeah, is this thing on?
Yes.
More people, Matt, actually celebrate their birthdays in August than any other month. Surprisingly, the way the numbers work out, you know, August is a month that has 31 days in it, but 9% of people celebrate their birthdays in August. I know that blows you away.
Well, yeah, because that would, if 9% were every month, then that would work out to 108%. So that is a slight majority. Okay. So
and then
more people in August than any other month. All right, interesting.
Yep. Close to 2 million birthday cards are sent each year in the U.S. alone. Do you know what percentage that makes up of all cards sold combined by Hallmark?
I have no idea. There's Mother's Day.
Stab in the dark.
I'm going 32%.
58% of all cards sold.
Wow.
And then, of course, there was a birthday celebration back in 1989, Matt. It was the 100th birthday for the city of Fort Payne, Alabama. They had the world's largest birthday cake. It weighed 128,238 pounds.
I remember that
and
cake.
8 ounces.
Was good. Oh, and
it's
8
delicious,
ounces.
right?
Yeah, it was delicious.
Yes. Over 16,000 pounds of icing on that sucker.
Yeah.
Right. And then, of course, the birthday song, there's always a song for your birthday, right? The most famous rendition of Happy Birthday is when Marilyn Monroe sang Happy Birthday, Mr. President, to President JFK at Madison Square Gardens back on May 19th, 1962.
Yeah, do you remember that?
I do, actually. As he tried to blow out his candles, a second breath of air came from the Statue of Liberty kind of over the grassy knoll and took out the candles.
Oh, there was a mystery blower on that one.
Apparently so.
Okay.
Apparently so.
All right, that's good to hear. Okay.
Now the song "Good Morning to You," which was written by Mildred Hill and Patty Hill back in 1893 for kindergarten schools. Patty Hill later changed the lyrics to "Happy Birthday," and it gained in popularity. And that song, Matt, it's still copyrighted today.
Right, which is why they can't sing it to you at TGI Fridays. They got to make up some silly version of "Happy Birthday," and they're not allowed to sing that and make money for it.
Chili's too, absolutely obnoxious, right? When they start clapping those hands together,
really fast, like.
Yep. Do you know what? Do you know whose birthday is celebrated more in Mexican restaurants than any other?
I'm guessing Panchito.
Panchito, happy birthday, Panchito.
Yes, I
So
love
Paul
the hat.
McCartney?
I love the birthday hat.
Yes. So Paul McCartney, his birth certificate was actually auctioned off in May of 1997, fetched over $84,000. It's believed to be the most expensive birth certificate ever.
Really?
Sir Paul?
$84,000. I wonder what I could get for my birth certificate. Interesting.
Not much.
Not much. You talk about the Beatles. One of my favorite stories about the Beatles, they were acclaimed. They're just incredible musicians. They've influenced just about every musician that's come along after them. And there was a press conference once where John Lennon was being interviewed, and they asked him if Ringo Starr was the greatest drummer in the world. And you know what his response was?
I actually do, but take it away, brother.
Best drummer in the world? He's not the best drummer in the band. I love it, man.
So my oldest is 19, so I'm going to take you from 19 to 20 to 21. In the 19th and 20th centuries, a popular gift for your 21st birthday was to have all your teeth removed and replaced with a set of dentures. This was done to prevent dental expense later in life. Oh,
yoy!
That's quite the 21st birthday present. I hope they get you liquored up first.
I was gonna say maybe that's why they changed the drinking age to 21, so you could get just completely, we'll call it anesthetized before you have all your teeth removed on your 21st birthday. Yikes!
Isn't that awful?
Happy birthday,
Matt. Do you know what the most expensive birthday party ever was?
I know it wasn't mine.
No, it wasn't yours. It was back in 1996. It was for the Sultan of Brunei.
Okay, that makes sense.
On his 50th birthday, he spent a whopping $27.2 million on his birthday.
Whoa!
And no, he didn't spend $100,000 on Van Halen like Jeff Spicoli did. But he did have 3 concerts featuring Michael Jackson at a cost of a total of $16 million. But then he still blew another $11 million. I'd have loved to have been there.
Shimon.
Wow.
That's a birthday party.
Yep. So Anne Frank's famous diary was actually a 13th birthday present.
That I knew because I read it, yeah.
You read her diary?
I did. I haven't read my children's diaries, but I did read Anne Frank's diary. I did.
So William Shakespeare.
I read his diary,
he actually
too.
died.
Yeah.
Good. He died on his 52nd birthday.
He did. Didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. So do you know what the least common birth date is in the United States, not counting leap years? You'll never get it. It's May 22nd.
Okay. All right. So other than February 29th, May 22nd is, and that's coming up here pretty soon.
Coming soon.
The least common. All right. Why May 22nd? Do we know?
No, we don't really know. Maybe it's, count 9 months back. There's not much going on in those late summer months. The dog days of summer, I guess they call them, right?
I guess. Well, and now you're heating up the pennant races in baseball, so, okay.
Correct. So speaking of heating up, the most common birthday is actually October 5th in the United States more than any other. Do you know why, Matt?
I don't. I'm still trying to count 9 months back.
Okay, 9 months from October 5th is actually New Year's Eve, baby.
Ah, well, that'll do it. That'll do it. You speak of this. It was a few years ago. Doctors in hospitals in the city of Chicago noticed a huge spike in births over just a couple of weeks, and they couldn't figure out why. All of a sudden, their neonatal units were so jam-packed. They didn't have rooms. They were doubling, tripling moms up in different rooms in the city of Chicago a few years ago, and they couldn't figure it out. They counted it back and finally realized that it was exactly 9 months after the Cubs had won the World Series for the first time in over 100 years.
Absolutely. Hey, Matt, do you know why neither of your kids were born on October 5th? You don't like countdowns. So actually, when your age and your date of birth are actually on the same day, so it's called your golden birthday. So if you were born on the 22nd of the month, then your golden birthday would be when you were 22 years old.
I heard this a couple years ago. Now, unfortunately, about 25 years after my golden birthday, after my 19th birthday, because I was born on the 19th, I did hear that.
Yeah, I was 9 years old for my golden birthday, still a latchkey kid, so I didn't celebrate anything.
So I'm running through the family. I think there's only one person in our family that still has a golden birthday coming up. Do you know who that is?
No.
Well, it's certainly not Mom or Dad, right?
No, is it Pars?
It's Pars. Yep.
Perfect.
His 23rd birthday, we're going to have to tear it up.
Awesome. So Shirley Temple, speaking of tearing it up, Shirley Temple received 135 presents for her 8th birthday, and it wasn't even a golden birthday.
Wow. Was it mostly curl activator?
Probably.
Okay.
Soul Glow or whatever they called it. Surprisingly, Matt, only 71% of people enjoy celebrating their birthday. Do you know what you call the other 29% that don't like to celebrate their birthday?
Ooh, fuddy-duddies.
No, old white guys.
Hey, careful.
So
some of us get sensitive.
I understand. I'm one of them.
Just a couple of seconds, T. What else you got on there?
Okay, I got two quick ones. So do you know how many people celebrate their birthday each day?
Most of them.
About 15 million people celebrate their birthday every day in the world. And Matt, do you know what birthday is celebrated more than any other?
Mine.
No, Jesus's. Come on.
Oh, man.
You forgot your mom, and now you got Jesus mad at you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jesus. All righty. Thank you so much, T. Quick.
Can I close it up with a dad joke?
Sure, absolutely. We love dad jokes around here.
Do pickles celebrate their birthday?
Of course.
They relish the opportunity.
Wow.
Talk to you next week, brother.
Very fortunately, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to our guests, Ramon Hamilton and Big T, Tony Watson. Join us again next week and every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. You are listening to SCVi Charter School's Eye on the Valley. Quit laughing, Patty. Homeschooling Answers with your host, Matt Watson. This is your hometown station, KHTS.